We are going over the long carry case with the crystal lights. We've laid out some of the parts that are inside of this case for brevity. When you first get the case, we have twist locks. That's locked. Vertical is open. Go ahead and snap pop all four of these open. And the case has a single position where it stays in the upright position. Immediately, we see the control box is attached to the inside of the case. This is done through a single Velcro strap, which you can undo and pull it out. The other items in the case, well, let's start with the stuff that's out here. We have an extra Vogel holder with a quick release part here, which is one of those Cat 6 phone connectors. That allows you to swap that out in the event that the holder ever died. We have a power supply with its cord. We have the audio cable. It's not really an audio cable, but for our purposes, we use this cable and it plugs into the control box and into the FiiO frequency player. That's a music player that we've adapted to run frequencies for this system. And those go through the magnetic coils inside of here to send pulsed electromagnetic frequencies into the crystals. The next item we have are spare holders, and we'll show you what the other ones are in a little bit. The charging cable for the FiiO and the instruction manual for the FiiO as well. Coming to the crystals on this model, we had to do it a little differently. There may be some models where the foam is pre-cut for every single one, but for this one, we have the foam cutouts designed for 4 of them, and then the rest of them go into this custom caddy. If you're having trouble removing the crystals from the caddy, you can always remove the caddy and pull them out that way. So you can see the crystals would just drop down into these holes and sit there. The music player sits into the slot there. The spare holders and the cables go there. Charging cable. The power is going to go into this case here, and we like to slip it in underneath here. So the power charger would go there. The spare one goes into this white bag, and then that can just flop around inside here. No harm's going to come to it. This you can probably just leave at home. Let's get on to the light bar and the tripod. The tripod, if we notice, tripods have 3 legs to them. One leg is pointed straight up out of the case. The other 2 legs are buried inside the case. We have the head of the tripod set up so it's going to loosely sit in here. There's various ways that you can put it in there. There are some that fit better, so play around with it. But the one thing that we wanted to emphasize is that one leg is always pointed up. What I would recommend is once you get this system home and the first time you open it, take some photos on your phone and then mark them as favorites so you can always retrieve them easily. Moving on to the light bar. The light bar has 2 arms that are going in the same direction. They're moving away from here. Because when we close this door, because this thing sits out pretty far, we need the clearance here for this thing, which is why this bar goes this direction and this bar goes this direction. Now, the bars in and of themselves, you can rotate this up and get the foam piece inside here for padding. When you look at the light bar, you'll notice there are cutouts right here and right here for the bar itself to sit into. Let's go ahead and pull this bar out. These arms, you'll see, are folded in. It doesn't have to be extreme, it's just a loose folding in place. When we go to set this up, probably a very easy way to do this, rotate, rotate, and that's how it's going to look when you go and drop these pieces into the actual control box. We're going to take this control box out right now. The control box has the shoe, has the port to plug the light bar in, has power from the wall to here. It has the USB power to charge up the FiiO. It has the frequency input for the FiiO. Nothing else on this side, nothing on the bottom. We have main power. We have the full spectrum lights, which are the pinkish lights, and then 3 different positions of brightness for those lights. We also have the different methods to change the lighting. Program basically moves the lights from one type to another. Set memorizes them. Plus and minus changes the overall speed. If we're pretending right now that this is on a tripod, get the tripod and this set up first, take out the light bar, get the arms set up and drop them in place. And that's really the basics of getting this all set up. I feel this is important to go over. Here are the rings for the crystals. This side faces down. You can see a small light in here. It's the full spectrum lighting. If you see this ring, you know that faces upwards. So the rubber ring here, which is flexible, that sits inside the top of this, so it doesn't fall out. And then you put the crystal inside. As you put the crystal in, it will expand. And because you're pushing it down and it expands, it locks it into place.